There was a man who I knew in Music City when I marched drum corps there in 2018. He was our brass caption head. His name was Paris Foreman. And one of my favorite stories about my experience in drum corps, well, I guess I have several that originate from him, but um, he would always make us do pretty intense stuff. I mean, he was known for his rehearsal blocks could be pretty intense. Um, and this one day, we were out at this field and rehearsing outside, and it was hot as shit. And um, we had just gotten torn apart by him the night before because we kept missing releases or something like that. And 11 reps in, we've missed 11 releases in a row, and he was counting. And then meanwhile, the trumpets know that we have him for brass for sectionals the next day, and so we're excited about that. And day comes around, and then we warm up, we do everything, and then we start to play, and we get done with the rep, and he goes, "You see over there? You see that tennis court? You got to run around that tennis court, and it's about probably three tenths of a mile, something like that, 3 to 4 tenths of a mile, to get around there and back." And so we set our horns down and we sprint around and um, get back, play another rep while we're panting and trying to get our breath. Uh, Set our horns down, do it again. People are starting to die out. Um, and then we get up, do it again, and we did it like, oh man, I don't even know. I don't want to exaggerate or anything, but it felt like a lot. It felt like a lot. And it's just stuff like that where I love those days where they would push us way past our limits. And for that one, it was encouraged that you go fast, and that we didn't have a lot of runners in the group, I'm going to be honest. And it at a certain point, it became optional whether or not you were putting in the work or not. Because you could run slower and savor your energy and pretend like it's not a big deal and laugh at the people who are trying hard. Um, I was not one of those people. I was the guy who was always trying to be out in front and trying to be in first all the time, and really wanted to test my grit and see how far I could take myself. And I love that about that activity, and I love Paris for how much he pushed us all the time. Um, so many other stories. There was legends from Music City where way back in the day, they would uh, they would tell the performers to run to a tree, and then they'd do it. They go run to the tree, and then they'd be like, "Okay, what are we doing now?" And then the instructor would be like, "No, not that tree, the other tree," and it's like something way off in the distance. Um, so you ended up having to run a lot more than you initially expected. Um, I think that's what drum corps is about, is whenever just being prepared for the unexpected. Whenever something comes up, which it inevitably always does in drum corps, you lose a rehearsal site you thought you were going to have. You have freezing cold water in a shower or boiling hot water in a shower, and you have to shower in a drinking fountain. Every day was a new challenge. Every day was something to overcome, and confronting that with this view of positivity and excitement to figure out how to like get over these goals, um, made it so much fun. And especially when everyone else around you is in that same exact mindset, you can just constantly poke and push each other to try to like who can be the most energetic, who can be the most inventive in these situations. Some people start bringing in jugs to the shower room, and they start mixing the shower water with the sink water to cool it down because the shower water is too hot to stand in for more than a second. Um, and I remember waiting outside of a bathroom a locker room because we were about to perform, and the staff was in the bathroom at the time, and the performers can't shower at the same time as the staff, for obvious reasons. And so we had to wait until all the staff got out, and we all just have like we're in shorts and no shirt, and we got like our shower gear. We're waiting to go. Everyone's getting super anxious, and we're all like we're getting a pep talk from the leadership, and he's like, okay, when we get in there, we need to have a rotation system. There needs to be 3 people in each shower stall at all times, and like just like how to be most efficient, because there's like I don't know, like 50, 60 guys in a or in a drum corps, probably more than that. We have to get them all showered in 15 minutes, which is insane. And if we have like 3 or 4 shower heads, each guy has about a minute and a half to shower. Like, there's not a lot of time to go around and not a lot of space. And um, sure enough, we did it, and everyone's yelling the whole time. It's chaotic, but everyone's having a good time. And uh, even though we didn't get the leisure time to relax and to shower before or in between rehearsal and the performance, we made it. We made something out of it. We made it fun that day. Um, yeah, it's just so much fun. So much fun to be in that kind of environment. And I didn't get that in my second group that I was in, the Blue Stars, because it was almost like we were pampered. It was luxury drum corps. It was about $2,000 more expensive to be in, and we always had a place to stay, always had a place to rehearse. We never had to use like an extra baseball field to line or anything else like that. Like the worst it got was sometimes we didn't get a lot of sleep because a bus would break down, and you have to line a field early in the morning, and you didn't get all the floor time you wanted or you were expected to have. Now sleep is something I can't sacrifice. That's like I can deal with anything else. Time constraints throughout the day, people yelling at me, um, anything. And then whenever sleep is taken away, that's like where I draw the line because I can't rehearse or perform or engage in at my highest capacity if I'm lacking sleep. Um, and I don't know if that's because I'm weak. I don't know if that's because the way I'm wired. If I really like struggle more than others with a lack of sleep. Um, but yeah, that was a piece of cake. And obviously, it's you still got to worry about the marathon mentality. You got to make it through the whole season and continually improve every single day when you're doing it for 75 days. Um, but man, I miss that. I miss Music City. That culture was intense. My first day, um, so you have day zero where you get there and you do whatever, and they taught us some fundamental stuff. But then day one is when PT started, and we had to do this exercise. And keep in mind, I'm 180 pounds now. I was 135 pounds back then when I was 16 years old, and I we had to do these partner exercises where one partner was doing jump squats while they waited for their other partner to do duck walks, um, like a tenth of a mile this way and then a tenth of a mile back. So almost a quarter mile of duck walks. Uh, this partner had to wait for before they could stop jump squatting, and then we did that until they told us to stop, probably like 3 or 4 times. And when you're I, like, oh man, so the first time you're duck walking and you get done with it and you're burned out, your legs are burning so bad. And then you you want to go fast, but you need to keep good form, and so you're looking at your partner way down there, and he's like doing jump squats, and they're relying on you to be able to stop doing them, and so it's hard to tell which one's worse. At least with the jump squats, you can take like minor breaks, and it's not your fault if the other person is like doing their thing for longer. And after like we did that a few times, that was a good healthy dose of what drum corps was going to be like. And I immediately had to go in the bathroom and throw up because it was just so taxing on the body. But I loved it. For some reason, I loved it. It was a good wake up call for me because I'd never really pushed myself to that level, and for some reason, I was just ready. I just wanted to like become better. I wanted to become my best self, and I think I became as best as I could that summer. Um, what else? One more story. Oh, just a brief one where I recall that the second summer was fine, but the first summer, for some reason, the bottoms of my feet were, I don't know what it was, but um, they hurt really bad just from standing up all day, and I'd never done it before. So that being the first time me being in the activity, about a month in, my quads are burnt to hell. My everything hurts, but the bottom of my feet eventually just went numb. And it went from hurting with every step to not even feeling any step. And like I could brush my finger along the base of my foot and barely feel anything because it was like just done feeling the pain. And the same thing happened with my quads. I mean, I would wake up every day, and my quads were on fire, and I could barely get up out of bed. And eventually, the pain, like, I was still sore and hurting all the time, but it felt like my legs became numb too because it was like, I mean, he's not going to stop, so we may as well like stop torturing him with this pain. Um, and so I ended up gaining like 15 pounds after that summer, which is pretty cool. Uh, so I got up to 150 from that 135, and I grew musically, I grew physically, and I grew mentally. It was really fun. It's a good time. Anyways, till next time.